What we're about to reveal has never been told to Western media before. A North Korean Foreign Ministry official, a 77-year-old Korean war veteran carrying terminal lung cancer, and a 74-year-old photograph stained with blood, the last image, an enemy soldier clutched before dying. In February 2025, they risked everything to cross from Vladivostok into South Korea, not for freedom, not for money, but to find one person, the 5-year-old boy in that photograph, now 79 years old. This is their exclusive testimony. For more exclusive testimonies, subscribe and become part of our investigative community. Your engagement helps us uncover stories the world needs to hear. It all started like this. November 2024, Tongil Street in Pyongyang's Taedonggang district. I lived there with my wife and 2 kids. 20 years working protocol for the foreign ministry. My job was packing luggage and arranging vehicles. When the supreme leader traveled abroad, ordinary cadre life. Nothing special, nothing lacking. But one thing, just one thing wasn't ordinary. My 77-year-old father's nightmares. Father slept in the small room at our place. He was a Korean war veteran. Born and raised in Sariwon, Hwanghae Province. Fought as a People's Army soldier during the war. Fought bravely, they said. Even received a medal. That father was our family's pride. But something was off. Every night, truly every night, he suffered from nightmares. Oh! Nakdong River. I'm sorry. Deep into the night, those groans never failed to come. At first, I figured it was just war memories. All veterans are like that, right? War. Trauma figured it was something like that. But living together for over 20 years and watching him, I realized these weren't ordinary nightmares. It was one night. Mid-November, I think. Pyongyang was already cold. Around 11 p.m. I was in the living room organizing the next day's work report. Documents related to preparing for the Supreme Leader's Russia trip. That's when it happened. No. Ah! A scream came from Father's room. I rushed in, startled. Father was clutching the blanket, drenched in cold sweat. His face had gone white. Father, are you okay? When I shook his shoulder, he jolted awake. He gasped for breath for a while, then finally came to his senses when he saw my face. Ah, Cheol-soo. Sorry. Had that dream again. Again, Father, isn't this happening too often lately? At my words, Father just gave a bitter smile. Then he looked out the window. It was a night when you could see the Taedong River in the distance. Nakdong River. September 1950. Father muttered. I brought him water and asked, what happened at the Nakdong River? Father shook his head. The look on his face said he didn't want to talk about it. It's nothing. Just old things. Everything you go through on the battlefield is scary. Go to bed, Cheol-soo. You have work tomorrow. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing rustling sounds from Father's room. Occasionally I'd hear him murmur, I'm sorry. What on earth happened at the Nakdong River? Why does it still torment Father after 74 years? I observed him for several days after that. Father really did have the same nightmare every single night. And during the day, he'd stare blankly at the Taedong River by himself, as if longing for something, someone. Late November, my wife asked me, Honey, Father seems really unwell lately. Shouldn't we take him to the hospital? I know. I'm worried too. But he won't go to the hospital. Father would wave his hands whenever hospital visits came up. I'm fine. Everyone's like this when they get old, he'd say. But he didn't look fine to me. His coughing increased and he wasn't eating like before. Something seemed wrong with his health. And more than anything, those nightmares. Father muttering, I'm sorry every night, it broke my heart. Early December. An emergency summons came from the foreign ministry. The Supreme Leader would be visiting Vladivostok, Russia in mid-December. A summit with President Putin was scheduled. Comrade Park Cheol-soo, you're in charge of protocol preparation again? Yes, understood. With 20 years' experience, this kind of work was routine. Make luggage lists, plan vehicle deployments, inspect accommodations, that sort of thing. But that evening when I came home and told Father, I'm going on a business trip to Vladivostok, Russia in December. Father's eyes changed. He stared at me blankly, then suddenly gripped my hand tight. Cheol-soo, could you possibly take me along? What, you, Father? Yes, I'd like to see Russia once. I've never left Pyongyang my whole life. Strange. Why was Father suddenly like this? At 77 years old, with poor health, wanting to travel abroad? But Father's eyes were so desperate. Like there was some reason he absolutely had to go. I'll look into it, Father. Since you're a war veteran, maybe we can get special permission. Thank you, Cheol-soo. That night, for the first time, Father didn't have nightmares. I didn't know then that this was the signal of something beginning. December 15th, 2024. We arrived in Vladivostok. Permission came through like a miracle. Special accompaniment was approved based on his war veteran status. Father was excited about his first plane ride, but I felt uneasy. His coughing had gotten worse lately. Vladivostok was cold. Mid-December, -10 degrees Celsius. But the streets were vibrant. Shops full of neon signs, people walking around freely. Completely different from Pyongyang. The hotel we stayed at was in the city center. The Supreme Leader's party had the top suites, while staff like us had regular rooms. Father and I were assigned a twin room, first night. We'd finished the official schedule and returned to the hotel when Father just kept staring out the window. You could see the ocean in the distance from our room. Shiolsu. Across that sea is Arjosian. Yes, Father. They say it's not far from Vladivostok to Rajin. That's when it happened. Father suddenly pulled something from his bag, a worn yellowed envelope. He opened it carefully, then pulled out a photograph. A black and white photo. Very old. In the photo was a young woman and a child about 5 years old. Father, what's this? Father stared at the photo in silence for a long time. His hands were trembling. Shiolsu. Father has hidden something from you. What? Actually, there's a reason Father's had nightmares his whole life. My heart sank. Was he finally going to tell me? Father sat on the bed, then let out a deep sigh. It was September 1950. I was 19. Went down to the Nakdong River as a People's Army soldier. Yes, I know that. You fought bravely, Father. Bravely? Father gave a bitter smile. No, I killed someone. Well, it was war. Everyone did. No, this is different. Father's voice trembled. That day at the Nakdong riverfront, a firefight broke out with the Arok forces, everyone shooting and running frantically. Then I shot an rock soldier. The room went quiet. Only Father's voice remained. I approached the man who fell to check his dog tag. But Father's hands began shaking violently. As he was dying, he fumbled in his pocket, then pulled out this photo. With his blood-stained hands, looking at the photo, he said, Mom, I'm sorry. I took that photo, checked the dog tag too. The name was Lee Jae-hoon, Army Private First Class. He was 25. I was speechless. A story from 74 years ago, yet vivid pain filled Father's voice. That child in the photo looked about 5. If alive now, 79 years old. Right, that child grew up without a father. Just him and his mother. Father stroked the photo. Cheolsu. Father has kept this photo for 74 years. Hid it. Couldn't tell anyone. Every night that man's face appears in my dreams. I hear that voice saying, Mom, I'm sorry. I asked carefully, So, that's why you wanted to come to Russia? Father nodded. From here. Couldn't we go south before I die? I want to go to that son and apologize. Tell him it was me who killed his father. That I'm sorry. That night I couldn't sleep from shock. Father's 74 years of guilt, the nightly nightmares, and that old photograph. Outside the window, Vladivostok's lights twinkled. Somewhere beyond those lights, that child who grew up without a father would now be a 79-year-old man. Could we find him after 74 years? And I didn't know that this confession would completely change our lives. That night, Father kept talking. Let me tell you in detail the story I haven't told anyone in 74 years. It was dawn on September 15, 1950. 19-year-old People's Army soldier Park. Young Gook, my father was deployed to the Nakdong River front. His first combat ever. The gunfire tore through my ears. Bullets flying from all directions. I was so scared I thought I'd go crazy. Father's unit received orders to attack the ROK positions across the river. They crossed in the early morning fog. The water was freezing. Even though it was September, cold as ice. Crossing the river with a rifle, comrades getting shot and falling next to me. It was hell. After crossing and approaching the ROK trenches, an ROK soldier suddenly jumped out. We came face to face, only 10 meters apart, his eyes, filled with the same terror as mine. It was instantaneous. Both raised their rifles and Father fired first. Bang! With that sound, he fell, hit in the chest. Father approached the rock soldier with trembling hands. He had to check the dog tag. When I got close, he was young, 5 or 6 years older than me, 25 or so? But the man was still breathing, bleeding but moving his hand. He was fumbling in his pocket, trying to pull something out. So I pulled it out for him. A photograph. The very photo father has kept for 74 years. He looked at the photo and smiled while bleeding, then said, "Mom, I'm sorry. Young-soo, Daddy's sorry." Father's voice trembled. Those were his last words. Holding the photo to his chest, he went. Father put that photo in his pocket. Checked the dog tag, too. It read Lee Jae-hoon, Army Private First Class. Every night since that day, that man appears in my dreams. That voice saying, "Mom, I'm sorry." I've heard it for 74 years. Father showed me the back of the photo. Faint writing was there. 1948 Chuseok, Young-soo, age 5, with Mom. This child's name was Young-soo. If he's 79 now, is he alive? I asked carefully. Father, why didn't you tell anyone all this time? How could I? I received a medal as a People's Army hero. How could I say, actually, I killed someone? And had nightmares for 74 years? Plus, killing a Southerner. Big trouble if I spoke. So he carried it alone his whole life, having nightmares every night, unable to tell anyone. Cheol-soo, lately I keep coughing and getting short of breath. Don't think I'll live long. Don't say that. No, I can feel it. So before I die, I want to go to that Young-soo and apologize. Tell him it was me who killed his father, that I'm truly sorry. Tears welled in Father's eyes. I want to return this photo. Tell him I kept it for 74 years. That his father thought of Young-soo at the very end. In that moment, I made a decision. I had to take Father south somehow. Find that person named Young-soo and resolve Father's 74 years of guilt. But there was no way. We were North Koreans and the South was the enemy. We talked until dawn that night. Stories of the Nakdong River, the war, and 74 years of nightmares. Outside the window, Vladivostok's morning was breaking. We returned from Vladivostok on December 20th, 2024. As soon as we got back to Pyongyang, Father's coughing got worse. The sound of him coughing all night kept me from sleeping. Father, you need to go to the hospital. I'm fine. It's just a cold. But he wasn't fine. On January 5th, 2025, Father coughed up blood. We rushed to the hospital. Test results took a week. That week felt like a year. January 12th, the doctor called me aside. Late-stage lung cancer. Too late. Treatment? We don't have the medicine. 6 months. At most. My head went blank. He was 77, but I thought Father was still healthy. I told Father. I couldn't lie. They said lung cancer, Father. Father was calm. I see. I thought so. Lately, I've been short of breath. Then he pulled out the 74-year-old photo. Cheol-soo, 6 months means. I won't meet Young-soo. My heart felt like it was tearing. Father, there'll be a way. What way could there be? Can we go south? That night, I made a decision. Defection. That was the only way. I had to take Father south and find Young-soo. Within 6 months. But there was a problem. Family. I couldn't tell my wife. Or my son and daughter. If I told them we couldn't all go together and they'd just try to stop me. Early February, an opportunity came. The Supreme Leader would revisit Russia in mid-February. Vladivostok again? That's right, Comrade Park. You're in charge of protocol again. I searched for a broker. I had $30,000 saved over 20 years. Money I'd skimmed bit by bit during overseas trips. I made contact with a Russian broker. 2 people, $30,000 is doable. I'll get you from Vladivostok to the Korean consulate. February 10th, I told Father. Father, let's go to Russia with me and go south. What, defect? Yes. I'll find Young-soo within 6 months. I'll make your wish come true. No, what about your family? My family. I'll bring them later. Father first. It was a lie. I wasn't sure I could bring them. But Father's 6 months were more urgent. February 14th, the night before departure. I lied to my wife. This trip might be longer. Maybe a month. Really? You're taking Father again? Yeah. He wants to go. I couldn't say a proper goodbye to my son and daughter. This might be the last farewell. Dawn on February 15th, we left Pyongyang. On the plane, Father gripped my hand tight. Cheol-soo, I'm sorry. Because of me. No, Father. I want to do this. But inside I was afraid. Could we succeed? If caught, we were finished. Our family would be finished under guilt by association too. But we had to go. Father's 74 years of guilt, his final wish. If I couldn't make it happen, I'd regret it forever. Vladivostok was approaching. February 15, 2025, 3 p.m. We arrived at Vladivostok Airport. The official schedule was 3 days. We had to board the flight back to Pyongyang on February 18th. We had to escape before then. As soon as we dropped our bags at the hotel, I texted the broker, using a Russian SIM card I'd bought in advance. Ready. Tomorrow, 4 a.m., the reply came. Okay. Hotel back door. February 16th, 3:30 a.m. I woke Father. Father, we have to go. Now? Yes. If not now, there's no chance. Father got up while suppressing his cough. We didn't pack bags. Just the 74-year-old photo and our passports. The hallway was quiet. Everyone was asleep. The state security agents would be sleeping on the 4th floor, too. We took the stairs. Elevators leave traces. Standing at the 1st floor back door, catching our breath, Father suddenly coughed. Shh, Father, hold it. But he couldn't stop. Lung cancer, coughing. Who's there? A voice came from behind. A state security agent. Run, Father! We burst through the back door. A black van was waiting outside. Get in quick, the broker shouted. I pushed Father in and jumped in after. Go! The car took off. Behind us, I saw the state security agent running out. Stop them! Those bastards are defecting! My heart felt like it would burst. If caught, it was over. Us and our family back north. The car left downtown and headed to the outskirts. After about 30 minutes, the broker spoke. 1 hour to the Korean Consulate General. Just get there and you're safe. But a problem arose. Russian police checkpoint. Stop! Stop! A police car blocked our path. We're screwed, the broker muttered. But he rolled down the window and said something in Russian, then handed over a wad of cash. The cop looked at us. Father coughed again. Cough, cough. The cop asked something. The broker answered, something like going to hospital. After a long silence, the cop waved his hand, signal to go. Whew! The car started again. My palms were soaked with sweat. 5:30 a.m. We finally arrived in front of the Korean Consulate General. Get out here. Go through that main gate. Father and I got out. The broker said one last thing. Good luck. The consulate's main gate was still closed. I pressed the intercom. Please help. We came from North Korea. After a moment, the door opened. A guard came out, soon followed by consulate staff running out. Come in quickly. The moment we entered the consulate, Father collapsed. We made it. We're alive. That's how we took one step onto free land. Chapter 6. Korean Consulate General, a 74-year-old photo. February 17, 2025 morning. The protection room at the Korean Consulate General in Vladivostok. A consulate official brought us warm tea. You're safe for now. The North will demand repatriation, but we'll block it. Thank you. But my heart wasn't at ease. I thought of my family back north. My wife, son, daughter. They must know by now that I've disappeared. The consul asked, What about your family? No, they're in the north. I see. I couldn't continue. The guilt of leaving my family behind was too heavy. That's when Father pulled out the worn envelope from his bag. Could you take a look at this? The 74-year-old photo. The consul carefully took it. This is from the Nakdong River in 1950. The photo of the rock soldier I killed. The consul's face hardened. Father spoke in a trembling voice. This person's name was Lee Jae-hoon, Army Private First Class. Look at the back of the photo. The consul turned it over. 1948 Chuseok Young-soo, age 5, with mom. This child would be 79 now. Yes. Before I die, I want to find this person named Young-soo. It was me who killed his father. I've had nightmares every night for 74 years. I want to ask for forgiveness. Father shed tears. The consul's eyes reddened too. You said late-stage lung cancer? Yes. 6 months. I want to meet him within that time. The consul looked at the photo again and nodded. When you arrive in Korea, we'll search the Ministry of National Defense's war casualty records. If Private Lee Jae-hoon is in the official records, we can find his bereaved family. Really? Yes. All Korean war casualty records are preserved. We can find them. Father gripped the consul's hand tight. Thank you. Truly thank you. That afternoon, they said repatriation demands came from the north, but the consulate refused. 2 days later, February 19th, we could board a special flight. Before departure, the consul said, When you arrive in Incheon, the National Intelligence Service will be there. I've already passed on the Private Lee Jae-hoon matter. They're investigating. Can they find him? We'll do our best. Before boarding, Father pulled out the photo again. Young-soo. We'll meet soon, right? I was desperate too. After 74 years, could we really find that 5-year-old child? The plane took off. Outside the window, Russian land receded, and the Korean peninsula began to appear in the distance. Father looked out the window and shed tears. Heolsu, that's our land soon. The south, but the same Joseon land. Then he murmured, Youngsu, I'm coming. 74 years late, but I'm coming now. 3 hours later, Incheon International Airport, February 20th, 2025, 2 p.m. On the Vladivostok Incheon special flight, we were the only passengers. It was a Republic of Korea government plane. Father sat by the window, constantly looking out. You could see the ocean between the clouds. Across that sea is our Joseon. Yes, Father. We'll arrive soon. Father coughed again. The lung cancer coughing was getting worse. Ugh, cough, cough. Father, are you okay? I'm fine. Just need to hold on until Incheon. Father pulled out the 74-year-old photo from his bag. I'd lost count of how many times he'd taken it out. Youngsu, are you alive? He murmured while stroking the 5-year-old child in the photo. I asked carefully, Father, what if we can't find him? Father shook his head. It's still okay. Just coming to the southern land and trying to find him. That pays back a little of my 74-year debt. Then he held the photo to his chest. Comrade Lee Jae-hoon, I'm sorry. 74 years late. I want to apologize to your son, Youngsu. Watching Father murmur to himself broke my heart. An in-flight announcement came. We'll be landing at Incheon International Airport shortly. The Korean peninsula began appearing outside the window. The West Sea and the waters off Incheon. Father suddenly shed tears. Heolsu, that's South Korea. No, the Republic of Korea. Yes, Father. 74 years ago I charged in with a rifle, and now I'm entering like this. Father's voice trembled. In the north they taught us the South was poor and an American colony, but when I saw from Russia it was all lies. More lights, people looking freer. The plane started descending. Incheon land was getting closer. Father, the NIS is investigating. They're looking for Private Lee Jae-hoon's records. I hope they find them. That's when Father gripped my hand tight. Cheol-soo, I'm sorry. Because of me, your family, you left them in the north. It's okay, Father. How can it be okay? Young-hee, Min-hyuk, Soo-jin, they'll all suffer under guilt by association. Tears welled in my eyes, too. Actually, it wasn't okay. Thinking of my family felt like my chest was tearing apart. Still, I have to make Father's wish come true. You only have 6 months left. The plane touched the runway. We've landed. Incheon International Airport. Father looked out the window. Republic of Korea land. We've arrived. After 74 years, we stood up. No luggage. Just one photograph, that was all. The plane door opened and stairs came down. Mr. Park Cheol-soo, Mr. Park Young-guk, please come down. People in suits were waiting below. NIS officials, probably. Father slowly descended the stairs, the moment of stepping on Republic of Korea soil. But Father suddenly stopped. Someone was standing in front of the immigration hall. An elderly man stood before the immigration hall. He looked about 79, white hair, leaning on a cane. An NIS official approached. Mr. Park Young-guk, this is Mr. Lee Youngsu. What? What did you say? Father's voice trembled. Son of Private Lee Jae-hoon. Mr. Lee Youngsu. We found him. Father froze in place. An expression of disbelief. Mr. Lee Youngsu was also looking at us. His eyes filled with tears. Father approached with trembling steps, then pulled the 74-year-old photo from his bag. This is your father. When he held out the photo, Mr. Lee Youngsu grabbed it. This is my mom and me. The old man's hands shook violently. Taken when I was 5, before my father went to war. The last photo, Father dropped to his knees. Forgive me. I'm the one who killed your father. No. September 15th, 1950, at the Nakdong River. I fired the gun. Your father pulled out this photo at the very end, saying, Mom, I'm sorry, Youngsu, I'm sorry. Father's voice broke into sobs. 74 years. I had nightmares every night. Please forgive me. Mr. Lee Youngsu also shed tears. Please stand up. Sir, I can't. Not until I'm forgiven. War is the sin. What sin do you have, sir? You were only 19 then, too. Mr. Lee Youngsu helped Father up, then held Father's hands with both of his. I grew up without a father. How much my mother struggled raising me alone. His voice trembled, too. I lived my whole life not knowing my father's face, only looking at this one photo. But I even lost that photo, lost it in the 1960s. I had that photo for 74 years. I'm actually grateful for that. Thanks to you keeping it, sir. I'm seeing it again after 74 years. The two old men cried together looking at the photo. I teared up too. The NIS officials around us were wiping tears as well. Mr. Lee Young-soo spoke. Sir, now, we're people of the same country, no longer enemies. At those words, Father embraced him. Thank you. Truly thank you. The two old men held each other and cried for a long time in the Incheon Airport Immigration Hall. It was the moment 74 years of resentment dissolved. I collapsed too, thinking of the family I left in the north, thinking of Father's lifetime of guilt. Everything welled up. After a while, Father said to me, Hyeolsu, Father's wish came true. No regrets now. Father, thank you, son. Abandoning your family because of me. I'm truly sorry and grateful. Mr. Lee Young-soo patted Father's shoulder. Sir, get good treatment. I heard you have lung cancer. I'll find you a good hospital. Thank you. And when reunification comes, let's go to the Nakdong River together. Let's pay respects where my father rests. I want that. I really want that. It's March 2025 now. Father is receiving lung cancer treatment at Seoul National University Hospital. Mr. Lee Young-soo visits every week. The two have become friends. Two people who were enemies 74 years ago. I still miss my family in the north. My wife, son, daughter. When can I see them again? But I don't regret it. I ended Father's 74-year nightmare. Father said yesterday, Cheol-soo, it'd be good if we see reunification in our lifetimes. Then we can bring your family and go to the Nakdong River together. Yes, Father. That will happen. The war hasn't ended yet, even after 74 years, but forgiveness and reconciliation have begun. Reunification, when that day comes, we can all meet.